feel it melt away, where time cannot find me at all. Just a breath away, nothing here but heaven, nowhere but love to fall as I go within. Quiet peace, offer something sacred. There's a sweetness that waits, holiest embrace that reminds me I'm always home as I go within. Quiet peace, offer something sacred. There's a sweetness that waits, holiest embrace that reminds me I'm always home. It's here that I am always home.
Thank you, Arya. Good evening. My name is Brian Atkins. I have been a practitioner here at Seaside for 12 years now, and I will be doing your reading this evening. And before I begin, I'd like to mention that after service, there will be practitioners available. Myself and Dennis Mills will be outside of the chapel for prayer if you'd like prayer. Or if you'd like, you can put one in the box in the back. So I'd like to, before we begin our reading tonight, I would like to turn into prayer. So please turn within with me. And I know that God is all there is. God is that all-loving, all-caring source of divinity and inspiration that permeates everything and everyone. God is in the beauty and the solitude of the mountaintops, in the roar and the thunder of the ocean waves. And God is right here, right this very moment here at Seaside, expressing itself through each and every one of us. And I know that we are all one with God. We are one with the source of love and caring and compassion, the source of inspiration. Each and every one of us is just a tile in that mosaic called life. And we are all heir to all the wealth in the universe, for we are God's essence. Closer to us than our breath, that is where God is. And I give thanks in advance in knowing that this service this evening is divinely guided. That as the words flow forth from Reverend Debbie McDonnell's lips, each of us is touched. Each of us receives a shift, a new outlook, a change in consciousness. And we in turn take that message out into the world and pass it on to others. And consciousness expands throughout the world. And so I simply turn this time over to the hands of God and know that it is perfect. And so it is. So our message this evening is, I just want to have fun. And believe it or not, I pulled out my online Science of Mind textbook and I searched for the word fun, and I did not find one occurrence of the word. But that does not imply that Ernest didn't think fun was important. And I'd like to begin by reading a quote that I found on the internet about Ernest's own disposition. Ernest's philosophy was also to be important to actress Rhonda Fleming. He took the teachings of Jesus, she said, and presented them in an exciting contemporary way that manifested tremendous feelings of love and joy. He was a lovable, wonderful, warm friend, very sweet and kind, yet also down to earth, very real and most comfortable with life. He was always willing to take the time to have fun and be light about things and not take life so heavily. A secret of youth from which we could all benefit. So what I did is I pulled out my thesaurus in Word and searched for the word fun, and I found joy was one of them, and I chose that word as one to search through the science of mind. And so I use enjoy as well as joy. So on attracting friends, suppose we wish to attract friends. We must begin to image ideal relationships, be they social or otherwise, to sense and feel the presence of friends, to enjoy them in our own mentalities, not as an illusion, but as a reality, not as a dream, but as an experience, to declare that their presence is now here and that they know it and that we know it. But we must never look to see if they are there, because this would imply doubt and would neutralize our word. We can attract the kind of friends we wish if we specifically designate the kind. But we must never think of certain people or that a particular individual must be one of them. For this would be hypnotic. Just thinking the idea will bring the right kind of friends. And on enjoying others, we should always be impersonal in mental work. We do not have to be impersonal in life, but we are brought to the point of personality in order that we might enjoy each other. And finally, on demonstration. What we demonstrate today, tomorrow, and the next day is not as important as the tendency which our thoughts is taking. If every day things are a little better, a little happier, a little more harmonious, a little more health-giving and joyous, with each day we are expressing more life, we are going in the right direction. And now I would like to invite those of you who have not lit a candle to come up and light a candle, and Arya will lead us into meditation.
let me so love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, and it's in pardon that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it's in giving that we receive, and it's in pardon that we are pardoned, and it's in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Beautiful, beautiful. Always. Thank you, Aria. Thank you, Jim. Brian, thank you for praying us in so beautifully and setting the tone. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. My name is Reverend Debbie McDonnell, and it's my joy to be with you tonight. Last week, if you were here, you know we had Dr. Ken Gordon, the spiritual leader from Centers for Spiritual Living, our big the big kahuna, I guess, the big guy, our face out in the public. And we had over 100 people here for service last Wednesday night, and it was just beautiful. Or last week. And Reverend Lori Mack did a beautiful job with Kay on the gong, and it was just lovely. And you can listen to Dr. Ken's message if you didn't get a chance to hear it. We have a podcast live on our website. You just go to the website and you can click on last week's message and listen to Dr. Ken. He had a very inspirational message about a new commitment to the world and how we're going to change a bit, with religious science as we're moving out and to touch more and more people. And one of the things that he emphasized was the inner and the outer, that we're human beings and we're spiritual beings, and we don't ignore one or the other, that they're an integration of the two. And he just said it in a really lovely way. So if you get a chance to check that out, do so. But tonight I'm going to talk about I want to have fun. Who wants to have fun? Me, yes. And Ernest was a fun guy. The stories that we know of him and the stories that we hear about Ernest Holmes is that he did like to have fun. And we have a woman who is alive, still with us now, Dr. Marilyn Leo, and she grew up next to Ernest Holmes. She was a little girl, and he was her next door neighbor, and her father and Ernest became, worked together her father's entire life. So she's written a few biographies on Ernest, and I think we probably have some of them in the bookstore, but they're fun reads if you just want to know a little about Ernest Holmes, the man, not so much his philosophy. I started thinking about this topic, and as I always do, we spend a little time. Reverend Lori Mack and I are so grateful that we actually have 2 weeks to think about our talk. And unlike Dr. Christian, who has to, do one every Sunday, the joke is they never told us in ministerial school that Sunday comes every 7 days. You get all prepared and then you're just ready for the next one. So we get a little extra time because Reverend Lori and I share. But what was interesting to me is I get a little thing in the morning, one of those little email blasts that you can sign up for, and it is called Notes from the Universe. Thoughts Are Things, Mike Dooley. I don't know if any of you have received that or get that, but it's a fun little thing to sign up for. But I had to chuckle. Yesterday morning, this is the message I got from the universe. Holy mackerel, Debbie, it's not supposed to be easy, with a big exclamation mark. Please never think or say that again, ever, okay? I'm like, wow. The next one is, Debbie, it is easy. Then the sound of thunder fading into the distance, the universe. So I had to chuckle. It is easy. When we were doing the capital campaign here at Seaside a few years ago, Reverend Tammy went out and bought us all the easy buttons. Remember, it's easy. And we all had one on our desks, and every committee member had one because she wanted us to remember. It didn't have to be hard. It could be easy. And it was easy. It's a state of consciousness. What are we choosing? Are we choosing the easy path, or are we make it hard? And that doesn't mean that things don't come up and we don't have challenges in life, but it's how do we choose? How do we choose to do it? How do we choose to do it? I've become very interested lately in Brene Brown. And I don't know if you know Brene Brown. She's a shame researcher, and she's, got famous because of her TED Talk, really. But she's written a couple books, and one of them was the one that I know Reverend Sunshine did here over the weeks, The Gift of Imperfection. And her new one is Daring Greatly. And she started out researching shame, and she started to realize that there were certain characteristics that what she calls wholehearted people have. And so she studies wholeheartedness and joy. So she shifted completely, and she defines wholehearted people as men and women with the courage to be vulnerable and to live their lives all in. So she studies this group of people and what makes somebody wholehearted, and as opposed to, afraid and shameful and full of guilt. Those that are wholehearted, she found, tend to goof off. They tend to play. And this took her by surprise because that was foreign to her. I mean, she's a get it done kind of girl, and so to goof off or to play was unheard of. So she had to really research, what is this thing? And she came to find out that it's play. That's what it is, it's play. And as she was investigating play, she came upon another researcher. His name is Stuart Brown. And Stuart Brown was a violence researcher. He started out, and what got really interested in studying the traits of violent individuals was the shooting, the tower shooting at Texas, I think it was Texas A&U in the 60s, was it? A while back, 60s, 70s anyway. And he started to research what causes this kind of violent behavior. And of course, we see it more and more, this violent behavior. And what he found, one of the common characteristics was play deprivation. These individuals were not allowed to play. They were very restricted in their childhood. They weren't allowed maybe even to leave the home in some cases. And so he's gone on from being a violence researcher to being a researcher of play. And he has started the National Play Institute in Carmel Valley, and that's all of the research that he does now is around play. And he's found a lot of direct correlation between wholehearted living and our actual health and wellness and our use of play. He has studied that those that play more are able to do things that those that don't play aren't. And it's from a neurological perspective he's studying it, And I'm not going to get too much into that, but what he did find is that there's different ways that people can play, and that play is just as important to us as sleep is and dreaming is. That we can be play deprived just like we can be sleep deprived. Now this is an interesting thing, I think, that they said that the definition of sleep deprivation is having more than 2 nights with less than 7 hours of sleep. So you can imagine how many of us are running around sleep deprived, right, in our get it done world, and we got to get it done, and we have the list, and we've got to do it, and we don't have time to stop. Stuart Brown says the opposite of play is not work, it's depression. No. So playing is not something that's normally recognized or encouraged really in our society as we grow up. I don't remember my parents anyway saying, no, you got to go out there and play a lot, make sure you play a lot. You know, they didn't say that. You got to work hard, you got to get good grades, you got to, do, be, create, do all those things that you need to do, but the emphasis wasn't on playing. We tend to recognize the people that seem to get acknowledged are the overachievers, the ones that are accomplishing, the ones that are doing great things. Those seem to be the ones that get more recognition. I've heard it said, and this was taught to me years ago, and it was said at the time to me more about men, but I think it includes women in today's world as well, that many times our self-worth is directly tied into our net worth. Is our self-worth contingent on our net worth? Is it really? Or is our worthiness tied into our productivity? Are we only worthy if we're producing whatever that is, the standard that we think we have to produce? The very first thing that we normally ask people when we meet them is, what do you do? We don't say, what do you love? Who do you love? What makes you happy? What do you do? And the answer is lots of different things. We tend to be what we do. I'm a mom. I'm an artist. I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm an engineer. And then do we place a value on those occupations? Are some more valuable than others? Are we putting an emphasis on achieving versus playing? This is what Brené Brown says, and this is the thing that got me, is this line. Cultivating play and rest, letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. Letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. How often has it been like, I'm so tired? That means I'm doing a lot. I'm pretty important. I got stuff to do. She, one of the researches that she did is she went down to downtown Texas, which I guess is where the big law firms are, and she spent like hours riding in the elevator in these law firms. And that's where she did her research, and she heard individuals talking like, went home at 2 a.m., and the other guy's like, I haven't even gone home. And this was like their badge of honor, that they were putting in all these hours. They were productive. They had worthiness. How does it feel to you to just think about simply playing? To just fool around, right? To just goof off, to do nothing. Like just lay on your couch, go on a walk, just do whatever you want. Do you start hearing the voices in your head? I know I do. You're not going to get much done that way. You really have to work hard if you want to get somewhere. Be productive. Don't just lay there, do something. That's directly from Mom, Don't just lay there, do something. Get out there, get busy. So I guess what I'm asking is that we just look at this idea of play. We just look at this idea of play, and how is it showing up in our lives? Are we allowing ourselves to play? Are we allowing ourselves to just be? I've come to love downtime. I call it putzing. I love putzing, just putzing, doing nothing. I just walk around, Another thing that they told us in ministerial school, Bill will know, Bill's graduating on June 7th in just a few weeks. Bill back here is one of our new ministers coming forward. But one of the things they tell us in ministerial school is how you do ministerial school is how you're going to do ministry.
And those were people that were doing it very frantically and crazy, and I was not going to do that. Like, no way, I'm not doing that. So I built in playtime. I built in downtime. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And at first it was really hard, but now I kind of like it. You know, now it's like, okay, maybe I need to be a little more active. But no, I feel like I have a good balance. But I do know that that's how I get filled up. That's how I get nurtured. That's what makes me be able to go on, is to take that downtime, to be by myself or to be with my kids or to take the dog on a walk or, you know, take a walk on the beach. We're so blessed here to be able to just go walk on the beach, and we can go outside most any day. I love to work in my garden just by myself. It's very nurturing to me. Brene talks about the properties of play being time spent without purpose. So what do you love to do that you wish would never end? You can just keep on doing it, you know, whether it's painting or singing or dancing or just lying around, talking with friends. I love just hanging out with friends. You know, there's no purpose in it really. Sitting and chatting and hanging out, you know. It's the things that we do that we lose our sense of time. I know you've heard a lot of artists say that once they start painting, the hours go by and they don't even remember when they started, or writers, or when you sit down to read a good book and before you know it, 3 hours has passed and you've just been reading this book. You lose your sense of self when we're in that state of play. It's actually a state. Stuart Brown talks about that. There's a state to play that you can see it, and you can see it in animals' faces. If you ever watch animals play, they're just like, they're focused. They're in play. That's what they're doing. Your cats or your dogs, they're just in that. Joy. Joy is play. You know, joy is play, and Ernest did talk a lot about joy. Stuart Brown talks about different ways to play, you know, and he talks about the whole body play where we just jump, or we run and we jump. And again, he's talking about it from the mind-body connection of how that playing actually develops the brain in a different way. He talks about the hand play, you know, the manipulation of clay or balls or those sorts of things. So from the hand to the brain is a direct correlation. There's curiosity play. There's the rough and tumble play, which I had to chuckle because, you know, I can remember my dad coming home from work. My sister and I were little, and the first thing we did is we wrestled with my dad. That was the funnest things to do, you know. And mom is standing there, somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's going to get hurt, right? I mean, isn't that what mom's always saying? Somebody's going to get hurt. Well, that's exactly what happened with my children. My husband would come home, and the kids and him are rolling around on the floor and playing and having a great old time, and I'm thinking, somebody's going to get hurt, somebody's going to get hurt, you know. Instead of just allowing that play to happen. You know, they also said, surprisingly, that competitive play doesn't really do the same thing like these other types of play does. So even if you're in an organized sport and you're playing in that way, it's not the same as the other kinds of play. But what is interesting is contest play is the same. And contest play is what we see the animals do again. And they were sharing a story of that animals will actually handicap themselves in a contest to get the play to go on longer. Like, for instance, if there's two bears and you see them, they're running in the woods and they're playing and they're chasing them to a tree, and their first one gets up to the top of the tree, you think he's won, right? No, he turns around and comes back down, swats the other guy a little and runs off again, like, let's keep going. I don't want to stop. You know, so we can get a lot of great lessons from the animals around us and how they play. You know, we can rest before we get it all done. That's another thing. It's feel like, okay, tomorrow I'll take a day off. As soon as I get this project done, then I'll rest. Then I'll play. But we can rest before it's done. We could have a project that's going to last a while. And we could take time off in between. And rest and play and do the things that we need to do. And know that it's going to get done when it gets done. We actually talk about play in practitioner studies. I have the privilege of teaching the first year of practitioner training here at Seaside, and it's a wonderful place to go and explore your own spiritual self, explore your own growth. And in the first 10 weeks of prac training, the title is How Life Got to Be the Way It Is. And so we go back and we look at all those things, all those hidden beliefs, all those ideas that may be keeping you from creating what you really want to create in your life. And so they have a values assessment that we do each week. And 1 week, the value is play and work. And this is what we do, and this is what happens when you go see a religious science practitioner. If you have a session with a practitioner, longer than just a short prayer, although a short prayer is really great, but you can have a whole session with them where they will help you to uncover whatever hidden belief you might be having that is keeping you from manifesting the thing that you want to manifest. Because those ideas, like those voices I shared of what happens when we think of play, oh, not going to get anything done, you know, we're not conscious of that going on a lot of the time. We're just going through life doing our deal, and we're not aware of the underlying currents that may be there. But the questions they ask in practitioner studies, I want to just read them to you and just take a minute to think on them, so I'll read them slowly. The first one is, what does the concept of play mean to you? So just think about that for a minute. What does the concept of play mean to you? What was your family's attitude toward play? That's something to think about. What is your emotional and mental attitude when you approach something that you define as play? And lastly, how do you feel about play? Well, I, like Brian, went out on the internet in search. And we have what's called the Science of Mind Archives, Science of Mind Foundation. And you can go on there, and every copy of the Science of Mind magazine ever printed has been digitized. Every copy of Creative Thought magazine has been digitized. Every article that Ernest ever wrote, every book that Ernest ever wrote is on there. And you can do a search, and you can come up with something that you're looking for, find out what he said about that. And I came across this one, and Ernest calls it God's Medicine. You have often seen a group of boys tramping off to a ball game or going swimming, always expecting to have fun. How their eyes sparkle and the corners of their mouth turn up. They are laughing, singing, dancing, following some natural rhythm as though joy were at the center of everything. There is an abandonment in them, a carefree attitude, and so often we say, isn't it too bad they must grow up and become disillusioned? That they have to enter the struggle for life and gradually be worn down with it until the boy in them is dead. And with the poet we think, turn back, O time in thy flight, and make me a child again just for tonight. But somehow or other we feel this is all wrong. We do not feel and we cannot believe that this thing called life meant it this way. We know as though something were forever telling us that we are created to be glad, to rejoice. What happened to us when we became adults that dampened this spontaneous joy and robbed us of that zestful anticipation which gives skill to the hands and speed to the feet? It is lack of enthusiasm. It is lack of being able to enter into the game of life and play it, not merely as onlookers, but as participants. For we want to be out there pitching too. We want to be out there batting for the home run. So, Ernest in the game of life. I put together a little slideshow that I thought was kind of cute. It made me chuckle when I saw it. You want to play that for us, Ed? It's just real short. Let's go back. Only read books that you enjoy. Play with simple things. Do whatever you want, whenever you want. Look for affection when you need it. Get serious once in a while. Forget about diets. show some affection often. Get angry once in a while if you have to. What a face, huh? Change your look just for the heck of it. Above all else, be happy regardless of challenges. So this week, go out and play, have fun, be happy. And let's welcome Aria back to the stage with a song.
So I am not going to sing Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. It was suggested. There's a rockin' feeling in my soul, a deep down yearning, don't you know? There's a rockin' feeling in my soul tonight. It's a jumping, hopping, front door knocking. Let me in, 'cause I'm not stopping. Overtaking, underlining, passion burning light. And it's about love. It's about breaking through. It's about waking up, reaching out, and holding to what's true. And it's about faith. It's about standing tall. It's about dancing, singing, really being in the magic of it all. There's a rockin' feeling in my soul, a deep down yearning, don't you know? There's a rockin' feeling in my soul tonight. It's a jumping, hopping, front door knocking. Let me in, 'cause I'm not stopping. Overtaking, underlining, passion burning light. And it's about joy. It's about dreaming big. It's about dancing, singing, life I'm meant to live. And it's about peace. It's about heart to heart. It's about learning, laughing, never passing up a chance to start. There's a rockin' feeling in my soul, a deep down yearning, don't you know? There's a rockin' feeling in my soul tonight. It's a jumping, hopping, front door knocking. Let me in, 'cause I'm not stopping. Overtaking, underlining, passion burning light. There's a rockin' feeling in my soul, deep down yearning, don't you know? There's a rockin' feeling in my soul tonight. It's a jumping, hopping, front door knocking. Let me in, 'cause I'm not stopping. Overtaking, underlining, passion burning light. It's a jumping, hopping, front door knocking. Let me in, 'cause I'm not stopping. Overtaking, passion burning light. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeehaw. Yeah, all right.
Thank you, Jen.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Thank you, Aria. Yes. Makes you want to go out and have some fun, doesn't it? Go out and play. So it is the time of our service this evening for our offering. So I want to just ask the ushers to come forward, of Dennis and Karen. Hi, Karen. Thank you. Welcome. So it's the time of practicing the law of reciprocity. As we give, we receive. That's not why we give, but it certainly oils the pump. It gets things going. Just knowing that as we give out, it comes back to us tenfold. So I ask you to just look in your hearts and give whatever feels comfortable for you, knowing that it all goes to support Seaside and all the work that we do here. And if you'll just join me, we have a prosperity prayer that Ed's going to put up there. He is. Got you by surprise. Ah. Maybe not. Maybe, oh, we got it. Okay. As I give thanks for the good now flowing into my life, I gladly share that good with others. The more I give, the more I receive. I experience a deeper consciousness of peace and security, for I know that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence, forever seeking an outlet through me. My cup runneth over. I exist in limitless possibilities. And so it is. Just have a couple of announcements before we pray this evening. To just know that our spring education track is coming to an end. We have one more class this Sunday, one more workshop with Joel. He's animated laughter with feelings. So that's a 2-hour workshop this Sunday, and that wraps up our spring education. The following Sunday, the 31st, I believe it is, or maybe it's the 30th, 31st, our summer catalog will be out. So look for a whole new list of summer classes coming for you this summer. We're going to do a new thing this summer too. We're going to be having Thursday nights tips, tools, and talks. So we're going to have a 5-series lecture series. We're going to have some fun people come in and talk on Thursday night. So you can see that when the summer catalog comes out as well. We have got graduation on June the 7th. We have many, many religious science practitioners. We have 7 ministerial students from the San Diego campus of the Holmes Institute that'll be graduating that Sunday afternoon, and it's always a lovely, wonderful time. So be part of that if you like. That's at 4 o'clock on Sunday the 7th. On June the 1st, we're starting back with our deep bowl meditation. June 1st, Monday evening here in the sanctuary. Dr. Christian's wife, Callie Sorensen, is hosting it with her women's ministry. All the proceeds that go from that June 1st night are going to support Nepal. So know that that's for women only, though. Did I mention that? Women only, the first one, June the 1st. It's the women's ministry. And I just want to thank everybody. Thank you, Brian. As always, I love having you on the pulpit with me. Aria and Jim, you're such a blessing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dennis Mills and Jenny Mills, we couldn't do it without you. Gregory and Tim, thank you. Ed, so good to have you back. Thank you, Trudy, for holding the light for us. Please know our bookstore is open. Vicki will be there in the bookstore if you're anything that you're needing. Go check it out. We got a whole bunch of new graduation cards in if you have somebody that's graduating. So now I'm going to pray, and then we'll do our closing song. So just take this moment to hold in consciousness, to just bring forward in your mind anybody that you know that might be needing prayer, anybody that you're wanting to throw into that vortex of prayer, into that energy of the prayer. Please just hold that and know that they're included in this prayer as well. I'm just knowing that there is only one power and one presence, and that is all that there is. There's nothing, absolutely nothing but the divine. There is only God. There is only good. There is only love. There is only peace and joy, fun and excitement. And I know that I am one with this source. I know that I am one with God. And just as I know this is true for me, I know it's true for each one here. I know that each one here in this sanctuary is the divine expressed, that each one is an individualized expression, that each one is perfect exactly as they are, that there's nothing to heal, nothing to fix, nothing to do, but just to surrender to that divine flow, to surrender to that divine grace, knowing that Spirit moves in and through and as each individual, that each one is here in this lovely world, this time, with grace and ease, that each one is prospered, each one is supported, each one is given all that they need in each moment to have a fun life, to be able to play in life, to be able to skip and dance and sing, knowing that life is a place of joy. It's with that sense of love, with that sense of joy, that I just simply release these words in the divine nature of the law, knowing that it is already done, and so it is. And join me in our closing prayer song.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. And no one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, love will show me how. Love is my decision, right here and now. My decision, right here and now.
God bless you. Join us for refreshments in the family room.
I choose joy, I choose joy. When fear won't let me be, I choose joy, I choose joy. When you know how. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy, I choose joy. I choose joy, I choose joy. I choose joy, I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Joy, 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 I choose joy. Yeah, thank you. Are you gonna run? Okay. You little bird, you little birdie. Oh my God, he was real sad.